After the Kosovo War in 1999, Dr. Feride Rushiti mobilized health professionals to support survivors of torture and sexual violence. She founded the Kosovo Rehabilitation Centre for torture victims, secured government pensions for survivors, and reformed laws to ensure the humane treatment of prisoners. In 2018, she received the International Women of Courage Award from the US. Now, after 25 years of tireless work, Rushiti has become the first Kosovar nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, and she continues to champion justice and healing. Joining me now from Pristina is Feride Rushiti for this exclusive interview. Thank you so much, and congratulations to you and your organization on behalf of TRT World. Truly amazing work. Now, when you just started as a young doctor, could you imagine that one day you will be globally recognized? And were you surprised by this nomination?
Well, thank you for the opportunity, first of all. When I first started my work with survivors of sexual violence, recognition was the last things on my mind. I started in 1998, 1999 as a young doctor in Albania in the refugee camps, and I was surrounded with a whole community pain. I met children who lose their parents, met parents who unfortunately witnesses while their children were killed and massacred. I met women who were terrified from sexual violence. So for me, in that period of time, nomination, not only this, but also other nomination I got, really they were not part of my focus. My their focus was on people in front of me, women and men who had endured unhuman suffering and were left without any support, justice, or acknowledgement. I could not have imagined that our work one day will be recognized on a global stage. Of course, it was deep emotion, not only for me, but also for my team. But more than recognition, what matters is that the voice of survivors finally being heard globally. My
Right.
commitment, my commitment in this cause has always been driven by survivors themselves. Their resilience, determination to reclaim their lives despite the silence and stigma which surrounding them even today has been my greater motivation.
And what does, let me just jump in here, what does this nomination represent for the victims of sexual violence, not just in Kosovo, but all around the world where we are still seeing devastating things happening?
Well, beside for us, the nomination, which is a great honor, it's a symbol of recognition for all survivors worldwide, that they are heard and they have attention and care from international community. For too long, survivors have been ignored. They were dismissed and even blamed what happened to them. This nomination tells that you are seen, your suffers matter for us, and the world is listening for them. For those not yet spoken, I hope this nomination serves as an encouragement to speak about such a deep trauma is not easy, and no one even feel pressure to do so before they are ready. But when survivors see their pain being acknowledged at the highest level, as it is Nobel Peace Prize, it might give to them strength to speak up, to believe in justice is possible, and to know that
Right.
they are alone in this
And how
struggle.
significant, based on your experience, is the role of state, and what were the main challenges for you in achieving these milestones?
The role of state is crucial in this perspective. Survivors need more compassion. They don't need just they need tangible support, access to medical service, psychological care, legal recognition, economical opportunity, and more than that, protection from further harm and legal recognition. When in our state, we had to negotiate and campaign for many years in order survivors to be recognized, and it happened 15 years after the wartime. But when state recognized such a pain, we sent a powerful message to the sexual violence case that it's not a personal tragedy. It is a social injustice and must be addressed as other groups of the war who were impacted during the wartime. One of the biggest challenges we still face is ensuring that survivors are not just symbolically and getting some redress. We need to have institution, community, and family to be aware from the consequences and to support with empathy survivors because they don't need to face any kind of bureaucracy and indifference, but also stigma which is still surrounding them in the family. We still need to fight in order to create an environment when survivors are freely seeking for justice, for rehabilitation, recognition, and
Right. When
recognition.
it comes to women particularly, I want to address that women who've been through torture and sexual violence. What is the main lesson you would like for international audience and other countries to learn from Kosovo's experience?
From Kosovo experience, we would like, because we are aware that even now in Ukraine, in other conflict area, rape as a weapon of the war is massively used, disproportionately affecting women. So what we would like to address as a lesson learned, first of all, psychosocial support in each country whenever it's possible, even during the wartime, but especially after the peace agreement, needs to be established. Documentation also is crucial because most of the time women are not visible. They are not documented. The suffering of sexual violence is not visible in societies. So it needs to be proper documentation when survivors receive support and their voice are registered. Their needs are addressed properly in terms to ensure justice, to ensure reparation, transitional justice, later one that survivors might demand in different phases of the peace.
And I do want to ask you, I have time for one more question. How significant is this for Kosovo, such a young country with such a young population, one of the youngest population in the world, especially having in mind all the political problems that your country is facing? Many countries have still not recognized Kosovo. So is this in some way a nod to Kosovo as well by the Nobel Peace Prize Committee?
The nomination is significant not just for me and KRCT, but for whole Kosovo. It is a recognition that Kosovo has something important to contribute on the global conversation on human rights, justice, and peace building. Despite our struggle for recognition, despite our ongoing challenges to our peace, Kosovo has shown resilience in this field. The nomination is a testament to the strength of our people, particularly the survivors who have fight for justice and in the face of denial and neglected from a perpetrator side. It is also a reminder that peace is not just absence of the war, because most of the time is perceived like that. It requires continuous efforts, acknowledgement of past harm, and commitment to rebuild the life of community. If we do not address the past harm, I'm afraid that peace is not sustainable. Therefore, I hope that this nomination inspires not just Kosovo, but all the world to see that even in the darkest time, the pursuit for justice and healing can lead to meaningful.
And I want to finish this interview with something good, because you just mentioned that, that it can lead to something meaningful at the end. I want to ask you to share us a story about a woman that maybe you've met, whose resilience really amazed you, who managed to fight whatever she's been through and is still moving on with her life.
We have now two champions in Kosovo, Vasfia Krasniqi Goodman and Shuret Tahiri Suleimani, who publicly shared their statement. And now those days, beside one of them was raped when she was only 16, she was a child. While Shurete Tahiri was raped, Vasfia was raped in 16. Shurete was raped in the presence of her two daughters, who were around 3 and 4 years. So now working with them, with those two survivors, they become worldwide activists, part of the SEMA network. They are elected from our president as a special envoy for conflict-related sexual violence. So if we work constantly and we reflect on the needs that survivors have, We are able to bring them from a position of the victim to agent of change in our society and even beyond our society.
Thank you so much, Dr. Feride Rushiti, for joining us on Across the Balkans. All of us in the region and in Turkey are happy for your nomination, and I hope you will get the award. We'll keep an eye on that. Thanks so much. And thank you all for watching this episode. See you next time from me and the whole team. Bye-bye for now.